Yo guys, and welcome to another Dark Reign video. This time I'm going to be showing you Titan hard mode using my Dragoon DPS POV. Now, I have to admit, of all the primal fights I've done so far, this guy in particular is one of my favourites because I think he's got very unique animations. Despite him being like an earth-based monster, he's got a couple of other things that are really useful for him anyway in combat. So like he can knock you off the edge of the battlefield and all this jazz. And the music, I mean, I'm pretty sure you've all probably noticed, where is that iconic Dark Reign background music you've usually got on in your commentaries, Dan? Well, it's not there today, guys, because I want you to be able to hear Titan's outstanding music that he's got going. It's like some rocky, heavy metal type awesomeness. Fantastic music. Anyway, this is my Dragoon DPS POV in Titan, and as you can see, lots of powers for me to cycle through, all of which have their own individual use and are important to a certain extent. The problem with it is at the minute is because I sort of flitter between Dragoon and White Mage, I'm not great at either at the minute. I'm better at the White Mage than I am the Dragoon, and I can Dragoon reasonably well, but when it's in something like this where there's a lot going on, a lot of AoEs, a lot of other things for me to pay attention to, and I've got to pay attention to my rotation as well, it's just a bit difficult sometimes for me to avoid damage. Sometimes I'm alright at it, and I'm not too bad. And lower level dungeons are much easier because you don't have as many powers to utilise. I mean, up until level 26, you've got one power in particular that hits harder than all the rest, so you may as well just spam that one particular power. And that's pretty much what you end up doing, other than utilising all your various buffs and insta-cast things that don't affect global cooldown. Global cooldown, that's something I've not spoken to you about before. You can see it on the screen here. Every time I click a power, can you see a clockwise directional dial that goes around all of the powers? That is your global cooldown. That means you can't activate anything until the global cooldown's done. Then you can activate another power, then you can activate another power, and it just stops you being able to spam a truckload of powers at once. Some powers have bigger cooldowns than others because they're buffs, etc., and that would be OP. You can just keep them up all the time. And others have cast times, so by the time your cast time's done, the likelihood is your global cooldown's done as well, and that's more indicative of healer classes or not even DPS casters really, because their global cooldown will be done as well long before you have to worry about that sort of thing. And as you can see on my Dragoon as well, I am a bit of a noob. If anybody is a Dragoon and you're watching now and you're a bit of an expert, I apologise for you having to watch my buffoonery as I flitter between bars, activating buffs and pressing the wrong power because I sort of get lost in the rotation sometimes. And I think I do reasonable damage. I do fairly well. And when I get the rotation down, the rotation works very well, especially with the insta-cast abilities that aren't cooldown abilities. They're off like your global cooldowns as well. There's some of them that you can activate immediately, like Spine, Shatter, Dive, I think it's called, Jump, stuff like that. And they're some of my favourite moves as well with the Dragoon because they're just a bit prettier, and they're sort of the backbone, and that's what's iconic about being a Dragoon, is their ability to jump these vast distances and spear dragons from miles away. I absolutely adore my Dragoon. I think it's a lot of fun. Someone said to me recently that they prefer Ninja or Monk for a melee DPS type of character. I've not tried either yet. I've heard Ninja is quite good, but the lower side of the DPS in terms of damage caused compared to Dragoon and Monk, but has more utility. So it boosts the raid a little better, depending on what level, I guess, that Ninja's at, because some things aren't available to you until much later on in the game, and it doesn't really affect your gameplay. And I hear Monk is the best of all the DPS classes. And when I say the best, I use the term loosely, because as far as I'm aware, everything in this game is relatively well balanced. So you've got your Black Mage. Your Black Mage is extremely hard. It's extremely hard, but it is your absolute very definition of a glass cannon. Hits like an absolute freight train to the face, but if someone sneezes on you, you're going to be close to death. And if your healer's not switched on, you will go down. Lots more Final Fantasy videos coming soon, guys. We are Dark Rain. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, see you in game.